This chart in front of you with the fake out to the downside for XRP on a weekly argues the fact that it is preparing for a run to the upside. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys get to learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. You're watching some of these big large cap assets slowing down on the daily, on the weekly, but not getting hammered. On the other end, you're watching some of these assets gaining 50% a week. So they are slowly starting to flip the narrative. We posted a lot of these bullish outlooks and bullish divergence and breakouts in the SR family. If you would like to take benefit of that, use the link in the description below. Join 1,200 plus members and ride this market. So if you do look at the entire crypto market and put the argument, on a short-term basis, we're watching that the fake out pushes the price to the downside and it gives you what you want. The macro argues the opposite. Now, say you want to zoom in. You look at the MACD and you're like, we are about to enter into the positive territory, but something from somewhere is slowing us. Yeah, I agree. The price is being slow, even though every other indicator is showing you the fact that price should go higher. Even though you got a breakout, a retest, and a bounce, you seems to be slow. That's you, my XRP. You seems like a small kid falling here and there. But the period of time which we have been waiting for this to break higher is now getting a little bit too long. But that's how the market works. It would like to create a frustration among the majority, and some of them move out, and then this moves back higher. We've seen some of those scenarios in the same asset before. There was a time when we had this level of consolidation, which was so slow, and then it broke higher. It did fake out to the downside. You can see the trend line. The fake out was massive, and then you decided you're going to go back up. So fake out, just think the price is going to go in the opposite direction. That's true on a short term, that's true on a macro. So short term, when you do see such fake out, look for the support zone. Now, you don't have to focus on the macro supports at that point. If you're looking at the micro, most likely you're going to see somewhat something like this. 0.49, 0.5, that's going to be the average range, which you can actually look up to. Now, if you're like, I want more confirmation with higher time frame, with divergence, with all the indicators available, then you're also looking at the total market. And that's where things get a little bit spiced up. Because the total altcoin market, excluding Ether for sure, shows you it is bouncing off on a 3-day chart, and it does show you it has a bullish divergence. So the argument here is clear that the micro drop to the downside, if you try to make sense of it, that's an ABC coming back down to this range before it should start riding back higher. Now, if you would like to see how much bulls are entering here, then look at this one point, the RSI. The RSI dropped to a range on a daily chart which it has not seen for an extended period of time. So you zoom out, you get to see that we saw that exact range in June 2023. So if you do understand that perspective, the bottom was in at that time. The price did go back up to test a local top to make a local high, but it didn't continue into a bull market at that time because we were in accumulation zone just after the breakout. So if you now take that onto a 3-day chart and look at the entire market, Daily suggests that you have done something which you haven't done for a year or more, and the 3-day suggests to you the fact that we are still at the trend line support. So you kind of get the point. The daily is arguing I'm about to reverse, and this time I'll have more strength because I'm traveling from much lower point. 3 days arguing I'm at a support, I'm trying to bounce off, I'm trying to make a higher low on a 3-day RSI. Now we move on to the weekly. The weekly chart here for the total altcoin market gives you almost the exact narrative saying I'm making a double bottom on a trend line. I'm trending higher, which kind of gives you the idea that you don't have a negative divergence when you came lower. That kind of means when you're going further up with a bullish divergence at the bottom, look for something bigger. We have seen those before, but the trouble is, unless that comes into the price action, majority will have trouble believing in it. What do I mean? You just pull up the RSI, make it a little bit bigger, remove every other lines from the equation, keep it simple. The price has moved to the downside, even if you consider the long wicks or the candle closes, but the RSI went to the upside, and that's on a weekly chart, guys. I know emotions that will not allow us to look for the right things, but it's not like that. We've seen these scenarios with our eyes over time. There was a time where the price went down, but then the RSI went up. That happens to be the exact bottom, whether that's on the total altcoin market, whether that's on the XRP side of the equation, you will see the exact same thing. Watch this. This is XRP on a daily, not even a 3-day, not even a weekly, showing you the price going down and the RSI going higher. Pure textbook bullish divergence, and that happens to be the bottom. You never went below that. Great, it's perfect. That means when you get something like that, you shouldn't be arguing about the bearish narrative, rather you should be looking at something bullish coming in the price. So the total altcoin market is showing you something. The weekly XRP chart, use the MACD and the long trend line here. You're watching that breaking slowly to the upside. You're watching the RSI already breaking, retesting, bouncing. That's just the price action following. So that gap in between the price action is kind of clearly frustrating a ton of people. They would most likely move into another set of asset, which is moving right now, and then you will see the asset popping. This is somewhat a common scenario in the crypto market because whales can easily manipulate this market cycle. Now, remember, dollar is still at that support point, which has been there from 2023 August, and now it's trying to bounce. So we're watching the entire market, dollar, commodities, and you're watching the price action which is playing out. The CPI kind of pushed the idea to the upside that the PPI was giving in earlier, showing you CPI would be either as expected or lower than expected. That kind of gives you a thought process of most likely they're going to cut the rates soon. And the Fed chair actually came out and said this: we may not wait for 2% inflation to cut the rate. So bullish news is flowing into the market. This one shows MetaMask going with MasterCard. That's bullish for the entire crypto market. That's adoption. That's a real use case of crypto in the real life. Now, you get Morgan Stanley coming out and saying, okay, we're buying like 187 million in Bitcoin in its portfolio, not the customer's portfolio. The difference is customers are retail. They can sell at every junction just with any kind of emotional change. But these banks, they hold for a long period of time. So when they are dipping their toes inside this ecosystem with their money, the horizon is longer. So the supply being removed from the market is long-term removal. They're not coming back for a 5-10% increase. Now we go look at the next side of the equation, the stablecoin. Payments on the Apple. So as you know, in the Western countries, if you are looking at the ratio of Apple users to Samsung, LG, and others, this is pretty high. And if Apple is to get onto this, that means Samsung, LG, and all others would start using a stablecoin. Maybe it's not USDT, maybe it's not USDC, maybe it's something else, stablecoin. But that doesn't matter. What matters is the ability for you to move your crypto easily for your purchasing power. Instead of using fiat, more people would start holding on to crypto, especially when the markets are so boring, especially when the markets are so low. This is when the smart money comes into the picture. That is the right point where big money likes to enter. You're watching the monthly RSI on Ether. What do you notice? A trend line. What have we seen historically in such boring trend lines? Yes, it is boring while you're at that point, but the fact that it gives you the max opportunity at the support shows you the fact that, yeah, it is moving up. Current drop is a panic move in the retail. It can also be an effect of news cycle. But if you do take all of these assets onto a macro picture, say you take XRP on a macro, we'll take the market cap for XRP or the XRP dominance, whichever you would like. But remember, the dominance should actually go down because you have 70,000 crypto coins right now. And some of those memes have been doing wonderfully well. Now, you come onto the monthly, what do you notice? Remember, the candle closed is your confirmation. So the last candle close shows you the argument. It went above all the other candles till August 2023. So you just did a 1-year leap, erasing 1 year of volatility, 1 year of all the bearish stocks was erased. Now, bears are trying to push the price down, but then bulls are pushing it back up. That's a balanced equation. Now look at the volume. That says a ton. Now, if you didn't understand, we'll break it down. Don't worry. The volume here was very much lower than the previous selling volume, but still the price went up. So sellers were backing out. Now, you have way more selling volume here than the previous buying month. Still, the price is now going lower compared to the previous candle. So it's not sellers moving out here, it's buyers doubling down. So the equation is slowly shifting from neutral to bullish territory for this asset. And we talked about this. The macro pattern is 25x after the breakout. The medium is 10x. So say you're optimistic about this asset, talking about a 23x. Literally, from the current price, you are talking about 27x, say a 30x along with to the upside. What does that mean? You're talking about $18, $20 in XRP. Say you're conservative, you're saying $6 to $8. That's not bad. But yeah, obviously, if you're talking about a 10,000% increase, you're talking about 100x, 1000x. Yeah, there is a lot of hype in it. Reality and the market condition has to be understood. You have the macro wave structure. We talked you through this. You can actually clearly see how high we went through this and how it may lead us to the next rally. But keeping that aside, the current trouble is the current trouble. You go on to the micro charts. The easy way for you to look at this is put this on a Heikin-Ashi chart, at least on a daily. And watch for this. The daily needs to be on or above the moving average. And then green. That's where you go happy in XRP. Right now, it's below the moving average. Right now, it is red. So you're not going euphoric about this asset right now. On a 3-day chart, you're above the moving average. You are green, which is a bullish shift. On a weekly, you are green. So any correction which we talked about on a micro chart, 2-hour, 4-hour chart, it's micro. Not even short term, because the short term, the medium, the long term, everything is starting to turn back bullish. You want to use the same equation on a lot of different assets. You get to see, yeah, they're also starting to turn bullish. You get to identify the fact that even Ether is showing you there is a slowdown to the downside. The weekly is slowing down to the downside. The 3-day is starting to turn green. The daily is starting to look green. But while that happens, below the moving average, you're like, okay, I'm watching, I'm interested, but I'm not buying. You need to see the 3-day, the daily, the weekly above the moving average, at least the daily and 3-day. That gives you majority of the ROI. You watch this. Whenever the 3-day goes up and you trade it using a daily, at that point, imagine you entered that asset during these times. You get to ride till this point. As soon as it's red, you get out. You're not trying to pick the top. You're trying to ride the best possible trade. So the same thing, you're waiting here. The daily didn't cross to the upside. The daily needs to do that. The 3-day needs to do that. So most likely you're going to watch something like this. By that time, the moving average will come down, and this would be your gorgeous buy if you're looking at this particular asset. Now, say you take the same exact equation into the total altcoin market. Why is this important? Because in the total market, you get to identify the fact that the 3-day is trying to bounce into the moving average or above that. Daily is close to that, it's testing it. So it's very close to the breakout. Any micro rejection would most likely be bought here and then push back higher. So the horizon of August being a corrective month, which we talked about, is now playing out. If so, what should be the next step? That's September, October, November, leading to the US election. All the speculation hype, price should slowly bounce. So use this for your advantage, ride the market to the upside. So guys, if you haven't smashed the like button, smash that for me. And if you would like to get the updates at the right time for all the assets, as soon as the market flips bullish, be a part of the Scientific Investor family. Join the 1,200 plus members. I'll meet you guys in the next video. Bye for now.